Let's take a moment to look back at that iconic home run from George Springer. This photo taken just moments after the ball left his bat. You can see a lot of people in the crowd seem to know it was gone. I want to draw your attention to one fan in particular in the top left-hand part of the photo, a man wearing a black shirt and blue cap. Geddy Lee, Canadian rock star, frontman of the band Rush. And Geddy Lee joins us now. Let's start with that moment. Most of us, Geddy, just watched it on TV. What was it like seeing it from behind home plate?
Well, that was one of the most incredible moments I've ever experienced in a ballpark. And I've seen some great moments in a ballpark, but I don't think I've ever heard the Rogers Centre or a Toronto baseball crowd, even including the 2 World Series victories that I was fortunate enough to witness. I've never heard a crowd that loud, that electric, and right on cue. It was really astounding.
Yeah, and it was heard from coast to coast to coast. So you talk about the World Series wins, 92, 93, so, perhaps the greatest Blue Jays team ever. The 2015 squad, the Bautista bat flip team, incredible. What is it about this version of the Jays, the 2025 Jays, that you find so appealing?
Well, I think this team is quite different than most of the other teams that have been successful in Toronto by virtue of the fact that something like 15 of those guys had been in the minor leagues this year at some point. And I think what marks the excitement and the affection that we have for the team is the characters from the first batting spot in the order right through 9. They're all sort of contributing, and a lot of them are lesser known, sort of unsung heroes. And I think that for me as a baseball fan, and I think for a lot of people that go to the games, we're drawn to the characters like Nathan Lucas and Ernie Clement and even Miles Straw. We didn't expect to contribute as much as he has. And, it's just one of those teams that you can't help but love. The enthusiasm of George Springer, and of course, Vladdy delivered big time.
And, we could just go on and on talking about players, but I want to mention Trey Savage, who's going to be the starting pitcher. Imagine that at 22 years old. Think about yourself at 22. At 22, I was barely mature enough to, I don't even make a meal, much less start a World Series game. He played 4 games out here in Vancouver for the single-A Vancouver Canadians. He made his way up through the minors, to the major leagues, to the World Series. Talk about him for a moment for us.
Well, that's a storybook, tale. Completely. He was in college, last year? He went through every level of the minors and in the majors, and now he's starting the first game of the World Series. That's an impossible story. And I was, honestly, as a fan of the game, I was worried that he wouldn't be able to handle it. That's like throwing somebody into the deep end, but he sure seems to have risen to the occasion, that's for sure.
One last thing, Geddy. As a guy who appreciates quality human beings and incredible baseball players, one of the greatest ever, Shohei Ohtani, is going to be coming to Rogers, and he's going to be playing for the other team. As much as you want to see the Dodgers lose, I feel like you have a pretty keen appreciation of Ohtani.
Oh, absolutely. Without question, he's probably the greatest player of our era. And the game he pitched in the NLCS had to be the greatest single game ever played by any player in the history of the game. 3 home runs and, a shutout, 10 strikeouts. My God. We're just seeing it all in that player. And I hope he has a lot of trouble when he comes here.
Okay. Rush fans, Geddy, and there are a lot of them around the world, are thrilled, of course, that you're going on tour for the first time in 10 years. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I'm a bit overwhelmed right now, to be honest. Alex and I took a long time trying to figure out if we could actually do this ever again. And when we did finally decide, of course, people were optimistic, but we really didn't expect the kind of overwhelming response our announcement has brought forth out of our fan base. It's just been a remarkable few weeks around our homes, but very exciting, very exciting.
Yeah, listen, around the newsroom here in Vancouver, when that news dropped, people were, jaws dropped as well. They were so surprised and so happy. And of course, the sensitive part of this is that you're doing it with a new drummer, Annika Niles, 5 years after your dear friend Neil Peart passed away. What's it like doing this with a new drummer in those circumstances?
Well, of course, it was a very difficult decision to go back on the road, and that was the main stumbling block, obviously. How do we replace the irreplaceable, so to speak? And we have been fortunate to have been introduced to the name Annika Niles through one of my road crew, my bass tech, Scully, who was on tour with Jeff Beck, and she was the drummer for Jeff Beck on his last tour. And he came home from that tour raving about her. And so when we made the decision to see what it's like to play with another drummer, we contacted her, and she's just a fantastic person. And she came to Canada, and we very surreptitiously snuck into a studio and worked out for about a week. And by the end of it, we were convinced that this would be a go for us. Yeah, she's just a tremendous player.
Rush fans know this so well, but for those who maybe don't follow the band closely, it's been described as three virtuosos on each of their instruments, and that included drums. And the songs are so complex, and you have, as a band, this devotion to making sure you do on stage what we hear on the recording. So this is not an easy gig for her. Do you get a sense at all that she's a little intimidated by the challenge?
Oh, of course. I mean, when she first came over here, we started playing some of the songs, trying to translate Rush music to someone who didn't really grow up as a Rush fan. She was not a Rush fan. She knew, of course, of Neil's playing. Every drummer knows who Neil is, or Neil was, I should say. But yes, so it was a bit of a daunting task, and we had to go through each song and explain the nuances of the song and the idiosyncratic nature of how our songs are put together. So at times, she was a bit overwhelmed, but she's an incredibly hard worker. She's got great technical facility, and she's just got a really positive attitude, and that's really good for Alex and I to be around right now.
So when you've been watching the Blue Jays, you've occasionally heard the incredible roar of the home crowd. We talked about the George Springer home run before. I was thinking about this, the only other group of people that get a roar of appreciation like that are rock stars. Like, have you been thinking about that while you're at the game, saying, man, I miss that sound?
Actually, no, I don't. It never enters my mind, to be frank. The one thing I miss about touring is actually the job itself, and that marvelous feeling of being in the middle of a 10-minute song, and you're caught up and you're playing and you're trying your best, and everything is working and all your bandmates are clicking. It's that adrenaline that I miss. I had kind of settled into a nice life without the roar of the crowd, and I think I adjusted pretty well to it. But of course, I'll be very happy to hear that once again.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, listen, last thing, you joked on your announcement post that you had to get back into the gym, but really, I assume there are real rigors to performing on stage, and also your so distinctive voice, you're going to be pushing it again in all those performances. Are you ready for that?
I'm getting ready. I've been playing diligently for about a year and a half now, and it wasn't that we had planned this tour that long ago. I had just decided that after writing all these books and having the experience of doing television shows that I needed to make some music again. So I've been working out pretty regularly, trying to get my fingers, these little digits, back in shape. And of course, since we did make the decision to tour, I'm hitting the gym pretty hard, and so is Alex. And we're going to be ready. We're working at it. We're going to put a lot of hours into that.